Hello, everybody. It's Ventus here, and you know what time it is? It is not actually game time. It is actually tournament discussion time. So, as you can see, we are looking at one of the biggest tournaments that happened over the weekend. If you guys have not joined the tournament, I recommend joining this one. It's really big, and the price pool is decent. But I did want to talk about the meta game actually because surprising at the number one placed winner is a Golem deck, and a lot of people ignored Golem because Golem was never too strong at all whatsoever. But it looks like it won. I did participate. I did kind of bad here. I'm gonna be honest with you. To be fair, I was running a MP deck. I just wanted to see how it ran. Excuse me. And so I'm going to talk about the top performing decks, but we're going to skip 6 through 8 and jump through 9 just to talk about God of War because some of these are very similar and whatnot. So let's, of course, look at the first place deck. This is what the first place deck was using. It's kind of crazy how just having Brock and having Druddigon helped so much because as you may observe or not, Druddigon's a really good tank. Nobody's actually using, Dragon Claw because that requires to have two different types of energy outside of whatever you may be running. This is probably good if you're running maybe a Dragonite deck, maybe. How do you know? I never liked Dragon decks because it's always used like different, more than one typing. I feel like Dragon should be its own typing, and it frustrates me that it's not. Because why does every other typing have their own typing? Anyways, as you can see, we have Geodude, Graveler, then Golem. Golem does 120, and it takes 30 less damage, so that's pretty great. Now I know they're not using blue here, but how crazy would it be to be able to tank about 40 damage if you included blue, right? But as you can see, there's no blue here. Now we have Hitmonlee who does 30 to a bench Pokemon. I really like this more than Zebstrika, just because it only costs 1, right? Zebstrika does cost, I think Zebstrika does cost 1 as well, but you do have to evolve it. Marshadow is also pretty good because if you do end up losing a Pokemon, it does 100 damage. So it can definitely take on some of the tankier Pokemon. But of course, the one you're going to be focused on is Golem. And then, of course, Brock helps. Brock helps in getting energies. There's an issue I want to address, but I'll get to that when we get to something like the Pikachu deck, because I think Pikachu deck is the only deck that lacks something like a Brock or a Misty. But as you can see, everything else are staples. They're Pokeballs. You got a potion if you decide to use potion. I know a lot of people are using Leaf as well because, as you can see, most of these costs are either 3 or 2. And Leaf is really good because why would you want to use an X-Speed when you can use Leaf? Now, the downside of using something like Leaf is obviously the fact that it's a supporter card, a trainer card. So you won't be able to use like Professor's Research or the Giovanni in this deck. But I will be trying out this deck in a future video. I just wanted to get this video out first because I already had recorded other videos, as you'll see later this week. But I did want to focus on this a little bit. So you guys can try it for yourself. This is the deck. Should I zoom out a little bit? Can I zoom out? Let's go ahead and zoom out just a tiny bit so you can see all the cards there. Now let's go to the second place deck, I believe. Yes, this is second place deck, Arcanine. Arcanine is good because it will be combating the Celebi decks. As you know, grass is weak to fire in Pokemon, and it's important. I think it's going to be very good for those who are running Celebis. So if you guys are having trouble against Celebi decks, this is a deck for you to use. Either this one or a Charizard, which we'll talk about in the next deck. But any enhancements they did, I can see that they put Mew because Mew's a good tank. I am very surprised they are not running. This deck wasn't running a Budding Explorer. I think Budding Explorer is very good to have on you, so you can have Mew keep tanking more. So in case you guys don't know what Budding Explorer does, it's basically a Koga but for Mew, EX specifically. So you can retreat Mew and have it as if you never put the card down, and you can put down the card again and have it tank some more. Again, as you can see more staples, Professor's Research, Sabrina. Sabrina is always going to be vital. Some people are choosing to use red cards, some people are not. Honestly, I try out these decks for yourself, modify them, because that's the best part. I mentioned it in a previous video. I think modifying decks is very fun. It's up to your discretion, see what works for you and what doesn't. That's why I've been testing out different decks. Right now, I'm testing out. Well, we'll talk about it when I'll talk about it when I get there. But I'm testing out some of these decks that I have here to talk about. But yes, I think red card is good, but also bad because it's a 50-50, honestly, because you don't know what the opponent's cards have, right? You don't know what your opponent has, and so you could maybe help them, right? Let's say they get a bad hand at the start, and let's say you get red card first and you decide to use it, and then you kind of sort of help them. Obviously, having one card less sucks, but they can kind of just get it back because a lot of people are running Professor's Research anyways, but it's good to see. So as you can see, Moltres is there just to help you rack up energy. And I think it's kind of insane that it costs only 1 energy. I feel like it should cost 2 energy, because this is not like Misty's where if you get Tails, you're done, Here you will get 3 coin flips no matter what you get, right? No matter what you get, and you can keep on doing each turn. And plus Moltres acts as a tank as well, unless you're going against a Pikachu deck, then you gotta kind of have to worry, right? And it sets up basically Arcanine EX and Mew EX. Mew is good. It's up to you whether you want to have it or not. It's good for sure Mewtwo, having it in a Mewtwo deck for sure. In other decks, I'm not sure because I haven't put Mew in my other decks, so I can't say for certain and stuff. Just know that if you are going against a Pikachu EX deck and you're planning on using Mew, it is not worth using the Pikachu EX ability because you do need those Thunder cards. So some people do not know this, and then they panic and they're like, oh no, I can't do it. So be aware that any card's ability you're trying to copy that says, it does so much damage because it has so many bench Pokemon of a certain type, you do actually need to have those as well on your favor, which is why it's good running it against another Mewtwo deck, because you can, for a cost less, you can copy Mewtwo's ability, kind of a mind game you got to work with and stuff. All right, now let's move on to the next deck. Again, you guys can see the cards that I'm posting. If you do want to look at the standings, you just look up this and you can see who's who. This got third. Yes, okay, this is the new modified Pikachu EX deck that I've been seeing from people. Right now, this is one of the decks that I am deck testing. I will probably have a video about this in the future. Maybe this week, if not next week. We'll see what happens. But this one, I've never used the Raichu version of this. I've used the Zebstrika version of this. Now with the new set, we got new cards such as this Pikachu that has Circle Circuit, which does a total of 30 if you have all your electrics out, all of your bench full. My main gripe, honestly, I think it should do a little bit more damage. That's just me, because if let's be honest, if I'm going to be doing 30, then I rather just have Electabuzz. You know what I'm saying? I rather just have Electabuzz do the job for me, or even Zapdos to do the job for me. And the Zapdos can tank. I understand Pikachu is like an early card to play. That way you can evolve it to Raichu. Because I can see Raichu can one-shot most EX cards, with the exception of Mewtwo, but that's where this Giovanni comes in. So the Giovanni in here is to beat up Mewtwo EXs. Because as you can see, it does 140. And then in order to help the Raichu, right, let's say, I don't know, 90 isn't cutting it for you, because this is like a fast deck to play, right? You want to get all the cards out as quick as possible, and you want to have Pikachu EX be the one to do the damage dealer once you have your cards out. Now, in case for some reason Raichu can't do the job, then you have Zapdos EX. However, this is luck based, because you do have to do coin flips, right? And pray that you at least get 2 or 3 coin flips in order to do 150 damage. I don't think you actually ever need more, because even if you're going against a Gyarados deck, which we'll talk about in a bit, you'll still beat it, right? And of course, you have Sabrina's Lieutenant Surge here is to help assist Raichu or Electabuzz. I didn't think about that, actually. Again, I'm still deck testing. I think this is really cool. The only downside, it does 10. I still would prefer Pinchurin. It does 30. However, I haven't had good luck yet getting paralyzed as Dende. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but as you can see, here's the rest of the staples for this deck. So if you like fast cards, if you like a fast deck, Pikachu's EX is the deck for you, which is the main reason I like it. And because there's so many new decks to play, I haven't decided which one I truly want to play. Right now, I'm hovering between the Gyarados EX deck and the Mewtwo EX, because Mewtwo EX is now faster with an addition of new cards, which we'll talk about in a bit. Now, we have Arcanine Charizard EX. Again, same concept as the Arcanine EX. You want Moltres out so you can be tanking a little bit while you're getting your other EXs out. In my opinion, I think these are too many EXs. Because again, when you lose an EX, you lose 2 points, right? So you have to be very, very cautious. Of course, you have your potion there and whatnot, but you want to have your Moltres out first so you can start, getting the energy, setting up your Charmanders to get into Charizard EXs, or your Growlithes to get into your Arcanine EXs. I haven't tested this deck out because I haven't pulled for the Charizard pack, which I might start doing as soon as I get the remaining cards from the mini pack that I want. Unfortunately, I am still missing another Celebi EX, and I'm missing another Superior. I think once I get the Superior, I'll try the Celebi deck, but instead of Celebi, instead of second Celebi, I'll be using Executor. I do want to test it out. I think as strong as it is, it's not going to be as strong as I think it is, because it's not even here. That's crazy. I was expecting Celebi to dominate, but look, it's down here. I really was expecting Celebi to dominate. I'm not going to lie. So again, same game plan as the other Arcanine EX deck. Now let's move on to the unexpected deck as well, for sure, that I did not expect to be this one. I will also make a video on this. However, I'll be one Gyarados EX short. It's not too bad. The only downside is that the regular Gyarados only does 100. However, I have Greninja to kind of help me out here, which is fine. I can just do the 40 damage in 2 turns and make up for it. Also, because it's a regular Gyarados, it's not an EX, so it counts as 1 less. So I think it's a good balance, in my opinion. Right? And as you can see, Jardigan here, we see it again as the tank. Again, you do not need a different energy. Whatever the main color is, that's going to be the energy you're going to be using. So that's very important to note. So yes, go ahead and try these deck out, guys. If you're not sure what to run, look at other tournaments, see what people are using, see what stands out to you. You know, again, I'm using Limitless. Right now, this is like, again, this is one of the biggest tournaments that occur every week. I encourage you guys to join in case you guys are looking for experience. So I can see here we have the Greninja Evolution line along with Gyarados EX, which is the main damage dealer. Now, the cool thing about Gyarados EX is that it discards an random energy from your opponents. So let's say your opponent's stalling and they're using a Mewtwo EX deck and they're trying to build up like the Mewtwo EX. Any damage you do as Gyarados EX will most likely remove the energy counter from a Mewtwo. There's an example. I'm not saying it's going to target the Mewtwo all the time because obviously it is random, but it's something to keep note about. Now, Greninja will help you tackle on the damage because it does 20. It does 20 per. So that's pretty good. So in case you can't finish off the Pokemon. And of course, Gyarados has a huge health pool of 180. So I think it beats the Charizard. Can I see? Oh, well, no, the Charizard is the same. So you're going to need a little bit of extra help beating the Charizard. But again, hopefully by that point, you're already beating up like a Charmander or something like that, you know? And the next card I want to talk about is Misty. Misty is an RNG card, right? You flip coins until you get a tails. This has been like a 30-70 for me, where 30% it does well, 70% it does bad, because you keep getting energy for each heads, but the moment you get a tails, it stops, right? So sometimes I get tails first time, and I can't really do anything about that because it's heart of the cards, right? So this is going to help prep your Gyarados, both your Gyaradoses. And so I wanted to circle back to the issue I have with this Pikachu deck. Pikachu does not have a card like that or an ability like that. And I'm hoping in the future it changes because I know Pikachu technically doesn't need it, but I feel like it would help as well if they had a card like Misty's or a Pokemon with Moltres' EX ability, something like that. I understand we have Lieutenant Surge, sort of, but the thing is, it's only one of two Pokemon or one of three Pokemon, right? I don't know, because it's like, for example, let's say somebody was running the new Vaporeon card, like that's kind of crazy, right? Because you can stack water energies on that Vaporeon and just transfer it to whoever you want at that point, But this is a deck I've had most fun with so far, outside of the Venipede deck that you guys should see after this video, maybe. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about the decks for this tournament because this tournament just happened recently, and the other videos that you might see, I kind of already pre-recorded them, but I am recording the same day that this video is going to go live. Anyways, I don't want to take up too much more time. We're going to talk about the final deck, which technically I already talked about a little bit, but this is the 9th place card, but still top 10. I talked about it earlier, sort of. I don't think I uploaded that video. However, but I don't think I'm gonna upload that video now that I'm talking about here. I'll have to look through my archive real quick. But I apologize. I had to edit some stuff out. But as I was saying, this is the new version of the Mewtwo deck. And as you can see, we have a Mew EX. Again, this is in place to tank. This is a deck that ended up getting 9th place. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that already. What's surprising to not see here is one of the other new cards called Button Explorer. I did mention it in the previous segment where I said that it's basically Koga but for Mew. Very surprising, but I understand why it's in here to I understand why it's not in here because we see a blue in here. As you can see, blue makes you take 10 less damage, so that's pretty good. Again, we see all the usual staples. Well, on a new additional staples now leaf, because again, why would you run an X speed when you have leaf now? Because leaf gives you 2 retreat costs. So and another staple that's been added to this deck is going to be Mythical Slab, because as you can see, it lets you look at the top card of your deck, and if it's not a psychic Pokemon, you put it at the bottom. If it is, you take it with you. So it helps you find the Gyarados line faster, or it helps you find maybe a Mewtwo or maybe a Mew-EX, depending on what you're running. Again, guys, it's always up to you what you decide what you want to run. So don't forget that. And that'll be the end of this discussion for this tournament. As you guys can see, if you guys want to apply or so sign up for other tournaments, you are more than welcome to look at this Limitless website, because they host tournaments basically every day. Honestly, they host tournaments every day. As you can see here, it tells you what next days. As you can see, I'm registered for the next Pocket Weekly, so I definitely recommend it because they do have a cap, but more than likely a lot of people might not show up, so you have a chance to get in. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.